Hi, Greg.
Hi, Max.
Oh, the audio works.
Do you ever feel like sometimes your life has been leading up to this moment?
Yes, and I know that's how you feel right now.
That's exactly how I feel right now. We should do a show. What do you think? Think we should do a show?
We should do a show.
I don't know.
It's about that time.
Should we do a show? Do we have anything on the show today, though?
Pretty boring show.
Pretty boring little show. Aside from, you know. Let's do it.
Getting there. You just hold your horses.
Yes, y'all. It is DCTF Live, episode number 15 for Friday, November 6th, 2015. My name is Greg Tepper, managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're tuning in, subscribe to on iTunes. And over there, wearing his green jacket and feeling pretty good.
I believe you called this my communist green jacket last week.
It's Max Thompson. Hi, Max.
I should clarify that I am absolutely not a communist.
You should clarify that. You're not a...
I just like this green jacket.
Right. Hey, do we have anything on the show today?
I think we... I struggled to book anyone, so
yeah
I don't think anyone's coming on the show today.
So
is there something you're excited about that you want to tell everyone?
Let me tell you this. I think we have the weirdest, greatest lineup of guests in the history of broadcast.
I would be hard-pressed to argue with you.
In this medium or any other medium, okay? Yeah. So let's run through it. Ready?
Okay. I'm listening.
1, we got Cornel Thompson, the head coach of the West Orange Stark Mustangs.
He is awesome.
Okay.
What a program.
Played in a title game last year, gunning for another title game this year. One of the most respected coaches in the state. Got him off the top. Okay? Pretty good. Then, Mike Craven, DCTF contributor. He knows everything about everything.
Mr. Rock Solid.
We're going to talk with him.
Has a great article that just went up on the site about some dark horse candidates that can do some damage in the bracket this year.
We'll talk with him about that. And if we stopped right there.
Pretty good show.
Pretty good show.
I
feel like you and I would high five, say great.
It's a nice Friday. That's a nice Friday. We'll have some good conversations. Maybe get out a little early. Take a nap.
But we didn't stop right there. No, we didn't.
Oh, no.
We have a guest picker for college football games.
You've had your eye on this for weeks. You've been working this for weeks.
It's the trilogy. We got Bun B on the show.
Bun freaking B.
We got
is
Bun
coming
B.
on the show.
We got the guy who created the word trill.
Yeah.
Half of UGK.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Pepsi.
Yes.
And the authors of literally one of the best rap albums I've ever heard in Trilogy. It is one of my favorite rap albums.
You're not alone
It is
in that category.
Oh, and trust me, I know when we have Mike Craven on, who is way bigger.
We're going to struggle to get him to focus on football.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's when he heard he was Bun B's lead-in, he was pretty excited. It is a huge show on DCTF Live. We are here every day at noon on TexasFootball.com, every weekday, that is, talking football in the state of Texas, which is what we're going to do. We're going to start. There was a football game last night. I'm not sure if you saw.
Oh, I watched.
Yes.
I watched.
It was Baylor and Kansas State. Baylor comes away with a 31-24 win. Jarrett Stidham's first game as the starter. And look, the bottom line is it's in the left side of the ledger. It's a win.
Yeah.
It's a win for Baylor.
Freshman gets out of there clean.
And I thought Jarrett Stidham played well.
He played really well.
I thought that throwing the ball, he was worthy of the hype.
Absolutely. No question.
Think that
he can spin it.
I think that they didn't ask him, like we said yesterday, they didn't ask him to do a ton. They didn't ask him to go out there and they didn't ask him to go out there and win the game single-handedly for him.
Right.
He didn't have to do it. They did a lot of shorter passes, a lot of swing passes, get him comfortable.
He bombed it over the top a few times, and it was on the money.
When they needed deep balls, he hit it. I will say it was not all sunshine and daffodils for Baylor. They broke their streak of scoring 35 points in a game.
Yeah, the cold, heartless killing machine that is their offense was not on full display.
And do you know why? It wasn't the passing game. The running game was gone.
Run it. Yeah.
And I wonder if, first of all, I think there's a couple things. I think that Seth Russell adds an element not just with his legs, but also the threat of his legs that Jarrett Stidham didn't show last night. Now, I think he's got that threat. He's not as talented a runner as Seth Russell, but he's got that ability to run.
Yeah. Well, and like we talked about this earlier, option football of any kind is a very tricky thing for a quarterback. There's a certain feel that a quarterback has to have for that offense when you run any kind of option. And there's a lot of stuff in that Baylor offense that comes with feel and being in the game and understanding timing and being able to read defensive ends. And, it makes a big difference. And I think with each game he'll get better at that, but I know you have some other thoughts on it.
I have another thought on that, and that is that I think that with Seth Russell, obviously Art Briles doesn't want him to get hurt. Okay? He doesn't want him to get hurt. But he knows that when Seth Russell's in there, that when he's running the ball, if he comes up lame, you've got Jarrett Stidham in your back pocket. And you don't want to use him, but you've got him just in case. Right now, if Jarrett Stidham gets hurt,
it's Chris Johnson time.
And I like Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't like him as the quarterback of the Baylor Bears. I don't like him as a guy.
Not on the same level as those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Baylor, I think Baylor.
I would love to be surprised.
Baylor would be up a creek.
That would be fun.
I think Baylor would be up a creek if they lost Jarrett Stidham. And so I think Art Briles trying to protect him. But I also think that Bill Snyder, a wizard.
Of the highest order, as I like to say.
A wizard, I think he knew that. And he said, all right, we're gonna sell out to stop Shock Linwood. And they did. They slowed down that running game. That's something to watch. The other thing, I didn't think the defense was that good last night.
I've read a couple mixed things. I didn't think they were great. I think the biggest, they had 3 takeaways. Pretty good.
Yeah. One of them was on a halfback pass.
Absolutely. But the biggest issue for me is they didn't get out on third downs. And those drives were just interminable. They just kept dragging, and they kept that offense off the field.
I mean, Kansas State, their first drive, they had some 9-minute drive, 8-minute drive. Yeah. That's killer. But Baylor gets one in the win column. Jarrett Stidham 1-0 as a starter, and that is the most important thing for the Bears. They move on. It's one in the win column.
No question.
I'll tell you this. If they play like this for their next 2 road games,
right? I mean, no question, they're in trouble.
They're in big trouble because they wouldn't win in Stillwater like that, and they almost certainly would not win in Fort Worth like that.
No, and but at the same time, you're not gonna. I don't think anyone's gonna use that offensive approach against them again. At least until they maybe make the playoff. It's you're not gonna see someone try to grind a game out like that against them. It's just not how these offenses they're gonna play are gonna work.
Okay. Let's shift over to high school football.
All right.
And it is week 11. This is, sadly, the last Friday night of the regular season, which is sad. It is the last Friday night of the regular season.
We'll get through it.
I know. It's sad, though, because there will not be this many high school football games on any day until
Right.
August.
But it's a hell of a lineup.
It's a great lineup.
It's a great lineup.
We saved the best for last, baby. This is
Yeah.
really, really good. So what I want to do is I want to have a little draft.
Ooh.
I want to go through. There's so many big games across the state.
How many games are we drafting?
We're each going to pick 3.
Okay, so 6 total.
6 total. You
6
can
options.
have any game in the state,
Okay.
and here's the rule.
All right.
The rule is that if I pick the game,
I can't.
you cannot watch it. Like, you can never see it, okay? So I have exclusive rights to the game.
For eternity.
For eternity.
I will never
you
be
will
able to
never
see this
be able
game.
to see it, okay? So I'll take the first draft pick.
All right, that adds an element. I'll
Ready?
give you, yeah, this is your idea, your game.
Thank you.
You get the first pick.
Manville Pearland. I want Manville Pearland. Battle of top
stings.
10s in 6A. You've
Okay.
got the high-flying offense of Manville up against the dominating defense of Pearland. Can Manville make plays with their defense? They've been so good at turning the ball over and turning it into points. I am absolutely fascinated with this game. I think it could go either way. I picked Manville and fixing to pick 'em, and I woke up this morning convinced Pearland's going to win because it's that close of a game. It's a coin flip.
It is a coin flip. I'm pretty bitter you took it.
Okay.
Because I do think it's maybe the closest game of the weekend with the highest end talent. No
Okay,
question.
so you get your pick now.
All right. I'm actually going to throw you for a little curve here. I'm going small school.
Interesting.
I want to go see Eastland Cisco.
Ooh, the
Battle
DQ big game of the
for
week.
the district title.
I like it.
2 nasty teams.
2 really good teams. Two good defenses.
Very, very cool game. Wish I was there. Little jealous of Neil Beasley and co.
Yeah, they're out there. Neil Beasley, Clark Rowe, Jeff Irwin, Kamey Stroot, all out
Yeah.
there for the DQ big game of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my pick.
Yes.
Give me Odessa Permian and San Angelo Central. Yeah, feeling good about that.
See, here's
Okay, battle
so
for the little Southwest Conference.
All right. Okay.
You've got San Angelo Central, who at any point can go berserk offensively with Brennan Wooten.
Might be the best player in the game.
Oh my gosh, he's incredible.
Right.
You've got
with you
this
there.
Permian
Okay.
defense that's been great all year. Permian can run the ball with Brandon Bailey. They can throw the ball with Trey Potter. I still have questions about Central's defense, but
Sure.
the fact that this is in San Angelo makes this even more tantalizing.
Yes. You know what? I'm not that upset. Here's the thing. I'm upset because I love West Texas.
You've already got Eastland Cisco, though.
I do. But, I mean, if I'm just going to hang out there, I would love to see that one. Mojo, always a great show. And I'm not sure this is going to be close, though.
Ooh, you think who you think's going to run?
I'm
away
not
with
trying to ruffle the feathers of the good people of San Angelo Central.
it? Oh, you think
But I
Permian's
think
going to run away
Permian
with
might
it?
run away with this.
Okay, interesting.
You know, just and you can't blame me
No, I can't.
because San Angelo Central has been very inconsistent considering the weapons they have.
Correct. I agree. I mean, last week they very nearly gave it away against Midland Lee in a game that they played extremely sloppy. Okay, so your
All
pick
right.
now.
Okay. I'm going to go with Argyle Sanger.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm with you if you watch Fixin' to Pick 'em, and the good people of Sanger have and have spoken on our social media pages. They're not very happy with
They're
you.
not happy with me.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
Don't tell them.
Yeah.
But this is a test, okay? Sanger's undefeated. Here you go. Surprise everyone. Shock the state. Knock off Argyle. All of a sudden, could you imagine the reaction? Everyone would be going, "Oh, we completely underestimated Sanger. Good for them. Here they come. Watch out."
I think Sanger is a decided underdog only because I don't know if we know what Sanger is yet.
Exactly.
We are
Argyle has been tested extensively.
pretty sure that Argyle is a great team.
Yeah.
Sanger might be a great team.
Right.
But we just don't know yet. We don't have
Right.
the necessary information. Okay, so I'm going to go with one more pick. You know what? I'm going into your old backyard, and I'm taking the best game in Austin. I'm taking
boy.
Cedar Park and Cedar Park Pista Ridge.
That's-
Cedar Park, number one
Okay.
team in 5A, looking to clinch the district title outright, looking to clinch a 10-0 record.
Right.
There's no playoff implications on the line,
No.
or actually, I think Vista Ridge may, can go seeding-wise, but they're already in the playoffs. Bottom line is, I'm interested in seeing Cedar Park's defense against Matt Snow in this Vista Ridge offense.
Okay.
I do worry that Vista Ridge's defense is not going to be up to stopping Cedar Park's
Right.
running game.
Right.
But I think this is a fabulous game, crosstown rivalry. They hate each other. It's going to be a lot of fun for the District 25 5A title. 'Kay.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a good one. I'm still not convinced that Vista Ridge can do it in a big game.
Okay.
But again, I'd love to be proven wrong. Love to see it.
All right.
Final game.
Yeah.
Let's look at this list. You know what? I'm going to go Brendan O'Connor down in San Antonio.
Nice.
Not much on the line except the district title.
Yeah.
Mostly everything's a foregone conclusion, but these are two teams haven't seen a lot of this year, haven't read a lot about this year. Really curious to see what they're made of before they go into the playoff run. I would be happy to see that game and make sure you could not.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay with me.
All right.
I'm not happy you took it because that's a fun district and those are two really good teams.
Right.
And talking with Stephen Pazor earlier this year or earlier this week, he's fired up to get a chance at O'Connor. I worry about O'Connor's defense in this one,
yeah.
but I think this is a great test for Brennan. I think it's a great test for O'Connor as they head in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
What games do we miss? Let us know. # DCTF Live.
Tell Tepper he's the worst person on earth.
Oh, let me get some plugs in.
Uh-oh.
While if you want to see if we can get Cornel Thompson, we're going to try again.
Give it a whirl.
yesterday and Coach Thompson, we talked with him. He called back and he was like, you know what his excuse? I hate to tattle on him.
Yeah.
But he had the greatest. He had the
It's
bulletproof excuse.
Well, there's two excuses.
Yeah.
One is the one he gave us. Superintendent pulled me out. Yay.
Superintendent.
Your boss comes in the door. I am secondary.
Yes.
Totally get it. Number two, my wife walked in.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what?
Superintendent or wife, those are the two.
Family is going to trump us any day too.
Absolutely.
So totally understand.
So let me get some plugs in while we're efforting to get Cornel Thompson on the phone and the coach at West Orange Stark. Fox Football Friday, powered by DCTF. Tonight, 7 to 11 p.m., Fox Sports Southwest. If you're in the DFW area, you might get bumped. We might get bumped to Fox Sports Southwest Plus for the first couple hours as the Stars are playing. So check that out. 4 hours of live Texas high school football coverage. Myself, Rick Renner, Aaron Hardigan, Coach Ken Purcell, a cast of thousands across the state. We will bring you highlights and analysis from all across the Lone Star State in this wacky Week 11 of the Texas high school football season. We will go through, region by region. We will try our best to keep you apprised of the playoff implications for each of these games. But know that it's a moving target. There's a lot of things. We've got something up on texasfootball.com/playoff scenarios that if you want to check the 6A, 5A, and 4A playoff scenarios, how each team can get in, how each team can get the top seed or the best seed for them, we've got that up on texasfootball.com if you want to check that. But that is Fox Football Friday, powered by DCTF, 7 to 11 p.m. tonight on Fox Sports Southwest. We are still efforting. Did the superintendent walk in again? There's no way the superintendent needed him two days in a row. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's just picking his phone. Crossing the fingers. It's okay. West Orange Stark is in the clubhouse 10-0. They have locked up everything. And the reason that they're 10-0 again is the same reason. Same song, different verse. Defense. Their defense has been just outstanding this year. It's been really fun to watch this defense kind of blossom. They gave up 10.6 yards per game. This is a team, that's also got a superstar quarterback at Jack Dallas. Their one loss in the year is to a 5A team, is to Richmond Foster, and a good 5A team. So this is no pushover. We are, very excited to see what they do once they reach the playoffs. This is a team that we had ranked number 1 in the preseason. Max is still calling. That's why I'm vamping. Hey! Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. I think that he's... I wish I had the power to open his mic because it's going crazy. But West Orange Stark is a squad that we may not be able to talk about. Oh, no. This is great. This is live. This is why we do it live. It's the craziness of live TV, live podcasting, etc. Max is still on the phone. Max, are we doing okay? He's not. They're looking for him. All right. We've put an APB on a legendary high school football coach, Cornel Thompson.
I said I called his cell phone, and they said it's sitting right in front of us. So
yesterday we cut this part out of the podcast. I don't think we're going to cut it out because this This is too quality. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and see us at texasfootball.com. I think maybe he's upset that he's not the headliner. He is first. I think maybe he's upset that we've got Bun B on the show. Maybe he is. Maybe that's what's going on. Coach Thompson, Coach Thompson, if you're listening and you're ignoring us. Oh my gosh, we did it. This is the beauty of live TV, guys. It's the beauty of live TV. Here we are. We are joined on the phone by the head coach of the West Orange Stark Mustangs. It is Cornel Thompson. Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you? How are things down there in beautiful Orange?
Things are going good. We had a little open week here, not an off week, but an open week, and we're trying to lick some bumps and bruises, and got a couple of kids back from injuries, so we had a pretty good work week this week.
I'm interested in your thoughts on having that Week 11 off week, as you called it. You're not playing this week. Do you view that as an advantage, a disadvantage? What is the balance between rest versus rust, if you will?
Well, we've been 12 weeks in a row, meaning that we played both our scrimmages just like ball games, and then 10 ball games in a row. But I would prefer to have the open date earlier. I don't like having it that late going into playoffs because you got a little edge. You're on a roll, and then you slow down there with an open date, but it does help with your injuries and stuff. But, no, I'd prefer to have it later. I think it's a disadvantage, really, in a couple of ways. But the one way is it's an advantage. You get some players back that's been on the shelf maybe, have an opportunity to get them back. But I'd prefer to have it an earlier in the year.
I don't mean to take you back to a more sad time, but when we go back to last year at AT&T Stadium, you're walking off the field after a tough loss in the state title game. What did you tell the juniors, now seniors on that team, about this year? About how did you use that title game experience for this season?
Well, we start the year out. If you don't win the state championship in your playoffs, your season will end in a loss. And unfortunately, it did at that particular time. But we felt like that. We felt good about ourselves in the first half. We had a bunch of them back, and it was a setback, of course, but we would use that to build and motivate us during the off season, try to get back. But we had a bunch of sophomores coming back, and we're a junior ball club this year, so they've bought in, and we've been playing pretty good. Seem to be getting better every week. And we had a great off-season program, I thought, and then we've had some people that are stepped up because of the extra 6 weeks work that we got that were sophomores last year that we really hadn't counted on to be starters for us, and they have. And then, of course, we're 91 right now, fixed to enter the playoffs.
We're talking with Cornel Thompson, the head coach of the West Orange Stark Mustangs here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. Coach, your defense, once again, really leading your squad. Who on your defense in particular have you been impressed with as the season has gone on?
Well, we got a couple of inside backers now. One of them's a 3-year starter, Stephen Timms, in our Willie linebacker position, and he's our leading tackler again this year as he was last year, and he's been real consistent. Knock on wood, we've been able to stay away from injuries with both of them. And then we got Justin Brown. They're our top 2 tacklers. Both of them one of them's got about 140 tackles, and the other 120 right now. But you talk about people that are impressed with. They got a young man named Jalen Powder playing defensive tackle for us that I moved from a defensive end position and dropped down. And he's really been playing good for us in the last month or so. And, of course, our nose guard has been starting since he's a freshman now, Mandel Turner King. And he started to this point in 3 years, he started 39 football games. So, if we don't get to play another one, and he gets 10 next year, he will have 49 ball games under his belt if he stay healthy. So that's phenomenal for a young man. It's been
amazing.
Right now he's a 3-year starter for us at nose guard, and like he played 39 football games at this time.
Coach, the other side of your ball hasn't been too shabby either, and I know that it starts with your quarterback. It's hard to believe, that you've got a guy in Jack Dallas who's got that good of a name for a Texas high school football quarterback.
What a Texas name that is.
That is as Texas as a quarterback's name gets. But also, it seems like as a junior, he's really played beyond his years.
Well, Jackson is a honor society student athlete, and you don't have to tell him but once. He's got a lot of leadership qualities. The kids rally around him. We got a bunch of little wide receivers. Our big deal going into the season was we had one returner, our quarterback. We had to build around him, and that's not a bad position to build around. But our offensive line now, we've tried a number of combinations with them. They've started in the last 3 or 4 games, really started to come on. I think we're starting to play like we're capable of playing. And then of course, we got a number of little wide receivers running around out there, the little bitty guys that look like the circus come through town and dropped them off, left them here. But they're doing a great job of catching the ball, and we got great quickness, and you couldn't touch them in a phone booth. It's like letting a balloon full of air, letting it loose. They're all over the place. So they're performing. They're performing right now up to expectations.
He is Cornel Thompson, the head coach of the West Orange Shark Mustangs, joining us on DCTF Live. Coach, I don't mean to date you, but you've been around this game for quite a while. You coached under coached with Dan Ray Hooks for a while, took over for him at West Orange Shark when he retired after 29 years as the head coach. So you know what it takes to win in the playoffs. What does it take to win in the playoffs?
Well, I've said this for years. Danny Ray and I have been together since '77, but we've always said this in the field house here. You've got to first of all, you're not going to win the Kentucky Derby with a mule. You got to have players now. You've got to stay away from the injury bug. Got to stay healthy during the course of the year, and it continues to get better each week. It's not and it's not about stats and stuff. It's you just got to be the best team for 48 minutes. So you got to have players. You got to be healthy. You got to stay away from that injury bug, and you got to have, above all, you must have some luck. And I believe that. Those are things that you've got to have to be successful in the playoffs.
He is Cornel Thompson. He's the head coach of the West Orange Shark. They are Mustangs. They are 9-1, enjoying a week not playing as opposed to a week off. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on with us. Best of luck the rest of the way. Enjoy the bye week, and we will. How about we plan on seeing each other at NRG Stadium?
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much.
There he goes. He did learn. I like how he called him Danny Ray Hooks. Dan Ray Hooks, who is one of the legendary high school football coaches.
Yes.
But, Cornel Thompson, a longtime assistant under him. You know what I love about talking to folks down in Belmont? Or down in that Golden Triangle area?
There's a million reasons to love it.
Well, yeah. You can always tell they're from the Golden Triangle area. They got They got that kind of twang. And people who aren't from Texas, I don't think understand that if you are in West Texas and you are in Southeast Texas and you are in East Texas and you are in South Texas, you have those are different dialects.
Yeah,
basically,
different for sure.
But he's got quite a squad, and it all starts with that defense. And
I love this team. It's one of my favorite in the state.
They're
right now.
really good. They fly to the football, and I think that last year's loss in the state title game is. You never want to lose, obviously, but I think it's a positive. I think they know what it takes to get there, and I think that they know that if they do everything they did this past year, that with one extra year of experience, even without a superstar defensive back like Deontay Thompson, I think that they're gonna, I think they've got a great shot at it.
Yeah.
And he's right. You can't win the Kentucky Derby on a mule. They've got the horses. They've got the horses. Malek Edwards. They're running.
The balloon in the phone booth.
They're running.
I never heard that. That's amazing.
I am straight up. I will admit this on statewide, national, international air.
Sure.
Universal air. It can actually go to space.
Sure.
I am straight up stealing that phrase.
That was amazing.
From Cornel Thompson.
All of it was amazing.
I am going. This is me admitting that I am going to steal that phrase.
It took gargantuan amounts of restraint for me to not try to pantomime what he was describing, chasing.
Yeah.
balloons around a phone booth.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The circus. He calls his wide receiver core the circus. That's amazing.
Well, they make big catches. Thomas Wallace, Contavious Miller, Keon Hancock, they can all catch. And
we talk about this all the time. We go through yearly sort of team crushes. Yeah. Man, oh man, West Orange Stark. I'm over the top for these guys. Yeah, I really hope to get to see them in the playoffs. Hope they show up at NRG. It's a fun team.
They're a fun team. Well, and I'm always partial to teams that play like really aggressive defense, and that's what they do.
Yeah. And it was just tough, man. Going to the post game press conference last year, seeing Coach there, Deontay Thompson's in tears, feeling like they let the whole community down. Your heart goes out to him in that moment. So definitely rooting for them to have a good run this year as well.
Well, and hold on, let me pull up our projections.
And that's before I haven't even done my requisite ballad to Jack Dallas.
Yeah, I know.
Per episode. So.
Oh, Jack Dallas. So this would be their path in theory. Houston Scarborough, Wharton, who's going to be tough. Lamarck, who's going to be tough.
Yep.
Lamarck or Caldwell, and then
Lamarck, a tough team,
Giddings,
but always hard to tell how tough they'll be because of that district.
Region 3 is a bear, and then if they get through Region 3, they'd have to face somebody from Region 4 like Geronimo Navarro, Sinton, Orange Grove, and then if they get there, they're in the title game against Salina, maybe Gilmer again.
We had a Navarro fan email into the show the other day saying he's excited about the team's chances, and look, they've shown it every step of the way this year.
They look really good. You're watching DCTF Live or listening to it. We are here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com talking football in the state of Texas. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to be talking with Mike Craven, our DCTF contributor, about high school football, college football. He kind of knows it all. He's a jack of all trades. And then 10, 15 minutes from now, stick around. We got Bun B picking college football games, which is probably my favorite turn of phrase I've ever said.
Yeah.
We've got Bun B.
My favorite part of filling out the graphics for the show was, how do I title him?
How do you title Bun?
We have our DCTF contributor, head coach titles, whatever. It's like, he's just the Trilogy.
He's the Trilogy.
That's his title.
We're going to be talking with him, a college football expert, he's told me. I don't think that's true, but we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
It'll be fun.
As we effort to get Mike Craven on the phone.
Does that mean I'm supposed to call him right now? Was that my
cue.
cue? Okay.
That's your cue. Want to invite you to follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. It's a big week in college football. Obviously, TCU's visit to Oklahoma State is a big one. I'm interested in the Houston-Cincinnati game. A&M Auburn should be great. After that, Tech and West Virginia, the early 11 a.m. kick's going to be odd. But it's going to be fun, and it should be a good week in college football, and, of course, a huge week in high school football across the state. And here to talk about all of it is our good friend and DCTF contributor, Mike Craven. Mike, I know the only reason that you're excited to be on the show today is to be Bun B's opening act.
Yeah, it's kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, it's listen, we've all got dreams, and I'm glad that we could help you realize one.
I appreciate it.
You just put a story up on TexasFootball.com with four teams that you think could maybe make a run and spoil some things.
Dark horse wrecking balls.
Dark horse wrecking balls. And I want to start with LaGrange. This is a team that you've been on since the beginning, really. Why, I guess?
I just think they have a player that can make them capable of beating anybody in the state. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is one of the best running backs in that classification, and they're not afraid to give him the ball. They're pretty good defensively. They have a pretty easy region in terms of everybody else to start off. So, yeah, I think LaGrange is a team that could surprise some people. They lost the game they probably think they shouldn't have earlier in the season, and they can be a team that can surprise some people once playoffs start.
Another team you've got on there, we've mentioned South Lake Carroll on the show, a team that obviously a lot of pedigree there, a lot of experience. John Tyler seems like they have come on of late, kind of a slow start to the year, but It seems like this is a team that if you're into the hot team, you're into the team that's peaking at the right time, it may be Cujo.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes with quarterback Bryson Smith. You know, he's starting for the first time this year. He's a junior, and they were pretty young early in the season. They have a really hard non-district schedule and tough district schedule to start off. So that 0-3 start alarmed people because it's John Tyler, and John Tyler usually doesn't go 0-3. But they're getting it going at the right time, and I think they're another team that can go in with momentum. And a lot of times, you know, we know it's easy to pick Allen, and, you know, it may end up being where those teams win it out, but there are some teams in here that, you know, if they bring in the right momentum and they get going at the right time in the playoffs, they can make some noise.
Another team you mentioned here that you say is ready to make a splash in the postseason, Pittsburgh, a team I think off of a lot of people's radar, but it seems like, you know, with one loss in the year, they're 8-1. That one loss is to Liberty Ilo. That's more than an acceptable loss. What has you drawn towards the Pirates?
They can score a lot of points. They're good. I mean, they have that Auburn style of offense, and they can just put up a lot of points in the playoffs. If you can score 40, 50 points on a regular basis, you're going to beat a lot of teams. Like you said, their one loss was to a really good football team that may win a state championship. They're another team that I like to kind of go in there because they don't play as many guys two ways as some of the smaller schools. So I think they have a chance to be really good.
So we're talking with Mike Craven, DCTF contributor here on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live, and follow Mike at Craven Mike. He decided to invert his name for Twitter purposes. Let's shift on over to college football. I'm interested in your impressions of Baylor's performance last night. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It seems like Jarrett Stidham throwing the ball was fabulous, but I'm not sure if what you saw, but the running game and the defense seemed to take a bit of a step back.
It did, and I think we were going to see that no matter what with the level of competition for them growing. Kansas State's a team that makes games ugly, and they can make really good teams seem bad just by their style of play. So it was a bad matchup to look flashy and good for Baylor. But they got the win, and for them, that's all that matters right now. Everybody's talking about style points. But if you go undefeated in the Big 12 and you get wins against TCU, Oklahoma State, you're going to get into the college football playoff the way it's shaping up right now. So for Baylor, it's just about winning and moving on. And you got the true freshman, his first start out of the way. So I think it wasn't a perfect win for Baylor. It wasn't something that looked as good as some of their 60-point wins that they are known to put up. But it showed a lot about the team, and I think it's something they can use to move forward and get better with.
It's on the left side of the ledger. That is all that matters. The other big game, or another big game across the state.
The only one.
No, there's.
It's the only one.
There's a lot of good ones, Max. Number 5 TCU visits number 12 Oklahoma State. I guess my biggest question is: are you buying Oklahoma State? I have a hard time kind of coming to a consensus about how I feel about the Cowboys.
I'm not buying Oklahoma State, but they're undefeated, and so they're undefeated for a reason. They put up a lot of points against Texas Tech. It's a Texas Tech team that gave TCU a really good game. Obviously, that kind of a fluke play at the end there cost them that game. So they're capable of beating TCU, and so we'll see how this goes. I mean, the Big 12's shaping up to be a pretty cool little round robin at the end, and I think this Oklahoma State team has the capability of beating anyone, but they could be a big dud. And I watched them play against UTSA, and I still don't know, who they are. But we'll see a lot this week, I guess.
He is Mike Craven. He's a DCTF contributor joining us on DCTF Live. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. Another game down there in the Houston area. Cincinnati comes calling to Houston. This U of H team just seems like they just keep on churning. Do you think Cincinnati has an opportunity to trip them up?
They could. They're due for one of those kind of letdown games. A lot of times that happens in a program, especially with the first-year coach. That momentum and excitement can only ride so far. But Greg Ward's playing so well right now. I think I read somewhere he's like the only quarterback in the nation with 10 rushing touchdowns and 10 throwing touchdowns. So he's been a beast, and he's helped. A lot of times you come into a program as a first-year coach, and you have to figure out quarterback because that's usually the reason the prior coach got fired. He came in and he has Greg Ward, and he's turned him into his ceiling. We always knew Greg Ward could be a really good football player, but he's starting to reach that ceiling and become a real quarterback. And that team's moving, and it's going to be interesting to see how they finish out their schedule because they have a chance to go undefeated and wreck some things, make things interesting with some big wins late.
Right now, if you had a Heisman vote, who would you give it to?
Trayvon Boykin.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Leonard Fournette is obviously doing some things that are insane. You know, and if Fournette goes out against Alabama and puts up, big yardage and they win that game, they go undefeated, it'd be hard to argue against that. But it could be just because I watch TCU more than I watch LSU. But Boykin's just made TCU a relevant member of the Big 12 and in the nation, and I don't think that can be overlooked.
He is Mike Craven, DCTF Contributor. Follow him on Twitter at Craven Mike. One last question for you. I don't know if you heard, but we're about to talk with Bun B. Is there anything you'd like us to ask him?
Yeah, I think Riding Dirty is the best CD to come out of Houston probably of all time. I'd be curious to know if that's his favorite CD or if one of the other ones that doesn't get as much talk about is his favorite CD.
Because the Trillo...
What's the one he listens to? Like, if he had to give somebody
a recommendation,
CD and like this is our work, I wonder what CD that would be.
Okay, I'm gonna write that question down. Riding Dirty. So I got to write that down. We will tell him that you send your regards. And we appreciate you hopping on with us. He is Mike Craven. Follow him on Twitter at Craven Mike, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
There he goes. Oh my gosh! I wrote Riding Dirty with no G on the end of riding, and it auto-corrected because I'm such a
I'm
such
so
a spare.
over auto-correcting.
I know. It really, it's really funny. So. Welcome to DCTF Live. We are here every day at noon on TexasFootball.com talking football in the state of Texas. We've already had West Orange Stark head coach Cornel Thompson on. We've already had Mike Craven on. We've talked Baylor.
Heck of a show so far.
We've talked high school football. But it's time to start picking some college games. And every week we try to get somebody on who maybe they're involved in sports, maybe they're not. 2 weeks ago, we had Aaron Hardigan of Fox Sports Southwest on. Last week, we had SB Nation contributor Ryan Nanny. And now, we've got another guy. Perhaps you've heard of him. He is the leader he is, in my opinion, the best hip-hop artist to ever come out of Southeast Texas. Arguably, the entire state of Texas. He is Bun B. He is one half of UGK. And he is kind of everything, you know? He invented the word trill, or he at least coined it, made it relevant. And so he is our guest picker this week. And with that, we are delighted to be joined by our guest college football picker, the Trill OG, one half of UGK, arguably the greatest rapper to ever come out of the state of Texas. It is Bun B. Hey, Bun.
Oh, thank you so much.
What's going on?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah. So are you in? I know you represent Port Arthur. Are you?
Absolutely.
Are you down in Port A right now?
No, not right now. I'm in Houston right now.
Okay, you're in Houston.
But I definitely.
So what is a weekend? What is on docket for Bun B this weekend?
That's a really good question. Tonight, a couple of friends of mine are playing for U of H's homecoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So rapper Wale and the rapper Lupe Fiasco are both performing tonight at U of H for their homecoming festivities. So I'll probably go by there. Probably going to go by the U of H game tomorrow. That's going to be interesting as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's Fun Fest in Austin. So I was considering riding over there at some point this weekend. And then there's a new Top Golf that opened in Clear Lake. I'm going to go by there this weekend.
I mean, I was going to sit on my couch and just watch football, but it seems like you've got a bigger weekend than me.
And I got to figure out when I'm going to watch Spectre at some point, too.
Okay, geez.
Right.
Yeah, you got...
Do you sleep?
Yeah, do you sleep?
Sunday, I try to rest between the second football game and Sunday night football. So I get about an hour of sleep on Sunday.
That's amazing.
He is Bun B. You can follow him on Twitter, which you probably already do, at Bun B Trill OG. We have a question from one of our contributors. He maintains that Ridin' Dirty is the greatest hip-hop album to ever come out of Houston, in the Southeast Texas area. For you, is that the album that you're the most proud of?
I think the album I'm probably most proud of is the first because, it obviously it has sentimental value. And then as well as the last album that Pimp C and I recorded together. But I think the album that, if you look at us as a whole, and probably the album that solidifies the musical legacy and kind of sums up everything that we were trying to do to represent ourselves, Port Arthur and Southeast Texas, Riding Dirty would definitely be that album.
You mentioned that you're going to the U of H game. You're going to try to go to the U of H game on Saturday, but you've also been a guest lecturer at Rice. Where do your allegiances lie when it comes to college football?
Well, I mean, I'll go and watch games, but for me, I have to root for the Owls. I'm gonna root for the Owls above everything. But I'm allowed to be a sports fan. I'm allowed to go to other games or watch games and that kind of thing. I would never root for another university over Rice. Right. But I go to U of H games from time to time. Go to A&M games quite often. Coach Summer's a good friend of mine. So in that sense, regard, I'll go to other games and I'll root for the teams or whatever. But no, I wouldn't put anybody over Rice University.
One of your many claims to fame, besides being a guest lecturer and a hip hop artist and a foodie, your food writing is outstanding. But one of the other things is that you did at least coin and popularize the word trill. And for our listeners, could you give us a brief definition of the word trill?
Well, I mean, trill for us has always really just meant like being 101%, right? It's like basically, some guys always say that you can count on them, but that usually comes with extenuating circumstances. People always say that they'll be there for you, but, sometimes they don't show up. But being trill is about, being a man or woman of your word and always willing to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves and speak for people who can't speak for themselves. Trill isn't about being hard or rough or street or gangster, anything about that. It's about keeping it 100 and then some. It's about whatever it is you say you are, whatever it is you say you're going to do, whatever it is you say you're going to be about, just be about that. And we can respect you on that.
I think that we can all aspire to be trill then. I think that I can aspire to be trill.
Everybody's not going to be trill, right? But being trill is definitely something that we can all aspire to be.
Right. Okay. I can get on board with that. And so when last year, when Texas A&M quarterback Kenny Hill adopted the nickname Kenny Trill, you came out and said, you gave your blessing, but you also said one game doesn't make you trill. Do you think?
Yeah, well, you can name yourself Trill all you want, right? That doesn't make you Trill, right?
I get
so that. You can throw that name and label on yourself all you want to, but that doesn't mean that that's who you are. You still have to earn and prove that, right? And my thing was, I didn't think the kid needed to put any unnecessary pressure on himself by jumping out the window and saying he was Trill, because quite frankly, that's a lot to call yourself as a rookie. And that's a lot to prove.
I get that.
And I didn't want the kid to box himself in with something like that.
Okay. All right. These are all questions that I've had, and we're so delighted that you've joined us to be our college football picker. We know that you are the preeminent college football expert in the state of Texas.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
All you got to do, if you get half right, you've already beaten us. So that's
not hard. You'll be good.
Well, we're going. So we will start with our college football picks. We start Old Dominion visits UTSA this game on Saturday night in San Antonio.
All right, well, that's UTSA's homecoming. But I think they're already like 1-7. They haven't really had a great year. Old Dominion, I think it's like 3-5. They've got the momentum. I love to see these guys win their homecoming game. But it just seems like OD's going to come in and handle business.
Max?
Right there with him. I don't trust UTSA at all right now.
I think that's where I fall as well. I think that they've got some talent, but they haven't been able to put it all together. I'm going to take Old Dominion. 3 p.m. Saturday in San Marcos, New Mexico State visits the Bobcats of Texas State, Bun.
All right, well, New Mexico just got their last win. I mean, their first win last week, right? and even that was a come behind win. So I mean, maybe that livens up the locker room. You know what I'm saying, for them. But Texas State, I'm gonna go with New Mexico State on this one myself. I just, even though Texas State won last year against these guys, I think New Mexico's got a slightly better team this year.
Max?
I think it's close. I'm kind of right there with him, but I always ride with Tyler Jones. I think the offense finds a way to get it done.
I'm going to take Texas State as much as I like Larry Rose, the running back from New Mexico State. I'm going to take the Bobcats. 2:30 p.m. Saturday, North Texas, coming off their first win of the year, visits Louisiana Tech.
I think that's a no-brainer. Louisiana Tech by a long shot.
Yeah, open and shut. I'm going Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest pick we've got. Louisiana Tech. As good as I feel about North Texas getting one in the win column, I think that Louisiana Tech comes away with the win.
I think it's the second easiest pick. I'll tell you what the first.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
7 p.m. tonight on the Hilltop in Dallas. Number 23 Temple visits SMU.
Temple, I think, got this one by a long shot.
Yeah.
They're looking good right now. SMU, I'm sorry. Even with them being at home, Temple's looking good right now. They're nationally ranked. They've got all the momentum in the world with them. I think they go to SMU and crush them. Even though SMU, I almost picked as a sleeper this week, but I just don't think they can win over Temple.
Right.
I think that's smart. It could have been a letdown game for Temple after last week, all the hype with the Notre Dame game. But I'm right. As much as I love SMU in that offense and Chad Morris, going with Temple.
I got to pick Temple in this one.
I don't think last week was a fluke. Notre Dame's a good team.
I think you're right. Okay. 7 p.m. Saturday night in Austin, Kansas visits Texas.
This is like the lesser of both evils, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I hate to be the one to say it. I'm just trying to keep it trill on it. You know what I'm saying?
We are all there trying to keep it trill, Bun.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give this one to UT.
Okay. All right, Max.
Man, I hate Kansas more than probably any team in the country. There's no way I would ever pick Kansas to win anything. So that's all you need from me.
Man, I'm going to take Texas. I just think Kansas they're really struggling right now. And as bad as Texas looked last week, I think coming home will help. 11 a.m. Saturday out in Morgantown, West Virginia. Texas State visits Texas Tech visits West Virginia.
I'm going to go with Texas Tech on this one. West Virginia, their pass offense has been looking terrible all year. I don't see it getting any better. I think Texas Tech takes this one.
Okay.
Even in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this one's close, but if I've learned anything from watching Tech this year, it's they kind of ride waves. Had a little bit of an offensive wave net last week, so I'm going to say they're going to ride it out.
I think they're trending up. I think Tech goes on the road and gets a win. All right. 7 p.m. Another game. 7 p.m. tonight. Rice visits UTEP out in El Paso.
This one is interesting. Normally, Rice had an extra day of rest for this one, so normally I would give them an advantage. But they still got to travel, so that kind of evens itself out.
Yeah.
But me, I'm Rice Owls all day, so I'm going to take Rice.
All right.
All fair. No dog in the fight for me, but I'm Rice all the way in this one. UTEP's been so disappointing this year.
I'm picking Rice exclusively because Bun is here. And
that's fair.
I want.
That's a good reason.
Yeah,
I'm picking it exclusively because I'm there. So.
6:30 p.m. Saturday night in College Station. Auburn visits your good friend Kevin Sumlin and the Texas A&M Aggies.
This is going to be interesting because this is college second start. I know a lot of people are saying Johnny because he had 200 yards passing, had 100 yards rushing. Last guy to do that, obviously, was Manziel. I'm going to go with the A&M anyway, but it's just going to be really good to see college second start and see how this progresses and see what happens between him and Kyle up there.
This is a tricky one because I think a lot of people haven't noticed that Sean White is trending up at quarterback for Auburn. I think the bag of tricks could be interesting for the A&M defense, but I got to take the Aggies at home.
I'm taking the Aggies at Kyle Field. I think they get a nice win over an Auburn team that's been really hard to predict. 2:30 p.m. Saturday, number 18 Houston welcomes in Cincinnati.
Well, I think this is the easiest pick. Easy. Houston by far. Houston's going to win the homecoming in royal fashion. right here in Houston in the brand new stadium.
You're buying what Tom Herman's putting down?
I am buying what he's selling right now.
All right.
Why wouldn't you, man? These guys have great momentum. I think he's come in and turned around the culture in that locker room. I think these guys are responding. I mean, they've been able to draft good talent over the last couple of years. So the issue basically, to me, has always been coaching. And I think Tom's bringing in a new regime right now. I mean, it's kind of early to say that, but it seems like the players are responding, and that's where it counts.
Max?
I'm right there with him. This could be a tricky one, but I got to go with the Cougs.
I think the Cougs are a freight train right now. It's going to take something special to knock them off. I'll take Houston. And finally, 2:30 p.m. Saturday afternoon in Stillwater, Oklahoma, number 5 TCU visits number 12 Oklahoma State, Bun B.
Man, this is easily the best game to watch this weekend. Boykin has been playing lights out right now, but if Emmanuel can get to him, it's going to be a problem. And I think that's really what it's really going to be about if Emmanuel can get to Boykin. That's going to be the matchup all day. But if I have to pick one, I don't know, man. Boykins has been playing pretty smooth. I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with TCU.
This is tough because TCU in Stillwater, not a slam dunk, but
no, it's not a slam dunk easily.
I'm going with TCU too. I think they got the edge. I just trust Boykin to wear the cape, man.
I think.
Is this a passion pick for you? Because this is a passion pick.
Oh, it's a passion pick for you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I believe in Boykin, so there's definitely something to that for me.
But they got to take the trip. That's my only. Not to cut you off.
Sure.
That's the only thing is that they're taking the trip and they got to play in Stillwater. But this kid, I think this kid's the truth.
I think you're right. I think that at some point, somebody to beat TCU, you got to stop Boykin and Josh Doxson. And I don't know if anybody can do that. And I especially don't think that Oklahoma State can do that. I'm taking the Frogs.
But they've got the best defensive player. I mean, the best guy to get. If anybody can get to him, Agba's going to be the guy to get to him. That's why I keep saying it's really going to be about if Emmanuel Agba can get to Boykin. That's going to be the matchup.
He is. That's all the game.
Under 3 sacks. I think so.
Yeah.
If he gets under 3 sacks, I think TCU wins. But if they get to the quarterback more than 5-6 times in this matchup, it could be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. He is the trilogy, the album, the epilogue, now available. Go get it. It is excellent. Bun, thank you so much for hopping on with us, my friend.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
All right, we will attempt to keep it trill.
Yes, at our best.
Just aspire. That's all I can ask.
Just aspire
to keep it. I am inspired. I aspire to be trill. That is my new lot in life. Thank you, Bun.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
There he goes, Bun B, the Trill OG, joining us on DCTF Live.
Is this real life?
I agreed with most of his picks.
He was.
I'll tell you.
He was on his game.
I'll tell you. I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. We've been talking a bit, Bun and I, and he told me, he was like I'm not, I follow college football, but I'm not an expert or anything like that.
Right.
He was more prepared than we were.
Well, speak for yourself.
What do we know?
But he was on. And I like what he had to say about Tom Herman too.
Yeah,
he knows.
Listen, he represents Houston well. All that Southeast Texas stuff, and he's a Rice Owl. He's a guy who he's been a guest lecturer at Rice for a couple of years now, and because he does it on hip hop and religion, which is
amazing.
I'll tell you.
Can we go back to school?
You want to talk about a sharp guy?
I would like to go back to school and take that class.
That guy's got it. That guy's got it all together. Follow him on Twitter at Bun B Trilogy, and follow us
super awesome
on Twitter at DC.
Super awesome.
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. So now it's been Aaron Hardigan, Ryan Nanny, and Bun B.
That's a pretty good group.
The way we're trending, right?
We'll have Obama on here.
Yeah, we're gonna have the governor on.
Yeah.
We'll have Governor
Greg Abbott,
and then we'll have the Pope.
The Pope?
Yeah.
Sure.
Then we'll get
Might
the
as
Pope.
well, right? That's the Trinity here in Texas.
That is going to do it
president.
for DCTF Live, a memorable episode of DCTF Live. Thank you for watching. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, visit us at texasfootball.com. Thank you to Cornel Thompson, the head coach of West Orange Stark. Thank you to Mike Craven. And, of course, thanks to the Trilogy Bun B. Thanks you for watching. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy, and we will see you tomorrow. No.
Monday.
We will see you Monday on DCTF Live. Let's not do a show tomorrow.
Okay.